talk about UConn destroying San Diego State. It started out like it was going to be a good game, but then UConn just ran away with it. We didn't talk about the Illinois versus Iowa State game that me and Bandy did call correct. I believe, Bandy, we both got that one right. We both said the same thing.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think we did. Don't look back on the show tomorrow unless you're 100% correct about it. But we haven't talked about the right side of the bracket with Houston versus Duke. It's going down today. On top of that, NC State, Marquette. On top of that, Purdue, Gonzaga. It should be a lot of fun. But we left out one, and that's because we want one Mr. Ryan Sylvia to help us out with this one. It's going to be the Tennessee Volunteers going up against Creighton. Alabama already got it done for the SEC. Now it's time for the Vols. Ryan Sylvia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. We're on the road up to Detroit right now. Excited for the game.
Heck yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. And hey, a good road trip is always nice, especially whenever you got a lot of time to think about what you're about to witness. Bandy, you're looking antsy to get onto it. What's
I'm
up?
about to say, hey, we got some time until this Tennessee game. So
Yeah.
What is it with just these national broadcasts? Hey, we're gonna put all the SEC teams incredibly late at night, just make it a pain in the butt for all of us South Coast viewers.
Well, I don't think Ryan thought it was a question, so I'm not going to even think it's a question either. But, yeah, let's talk about it. I mean, this Tennessee team has got to play just a little bit later, but, they've been moving around as well on top of that. Kind of just preview a little bit of what we're going to see from Tennessee tonight against Creighton. And is Dalton Connect going to continue to be that machine, or are we going to see it spread out a little bit amongst that first field?
I think Tennessee's going to need Dalton Connect to have a big game. We saw last night 2 Conference Player of the Years, Caleb Love and R.J. Davis, not have great games, and their teams ended up getting upset and lost.
Mm-hmm.
So Dalton's going to look to kind of buck that trend and get back on track. He had an all-right game in the round of 32 against Texas, but wasn't very efficient from the field. If Tennessee can get him going, I think they stand a really good chance against Creighton. But I think Tennessee's got to kind of win that perimeter game. Baylor's got some great three-point shooters. They were missing some shots that they probably won back in that double OT win against Oregon. You have to think that'll get corrected. And then on the other hand, Tennessee misses a lot of shots against Texas that they are going to win back. So both teams you would expect to kind of get back towards the trend that they've set throughout the regular season of being good three-point shooting teams. And I think it just kind of comes down to who makes more.
Yeah, and in the round of 32, they had a very convincing win against the St. Peter's Peacocks. But one thing that did kind of stand out was those 15 turnovers that the Vols have. And what's going to be key for this squad to limit that amount against a squad like Creighton?
Yeah, you got to trust the Kai Ziegler, I think. He's been the heart of the team all year. He's been the primary ball handler. He played all 40 minutes against Texas. I think you just have to put all your faith in Zakai and understand that he's ready for this moment. He's played not in this game before since he was out last year in their Sweet 16 bout after tearing his ACL, but he's played in big moments. So as long as Zakai kind of settles in and looks like how he had this whole season as that defensive player of the year, all first team SEC member, then that turnover number should go down as long as he's playing efficiently.
For sure about that. That Creighton team, though, has a top-tier offense. I'm pretty sure you know plenty about that. Looking at what they've been able to do all season, it's just been impressive to say the least. But, how do you stop guys that are able to put up 23 and then you look over and then there's another guy putting up 19 and then you got another guy putting up 15? I'm talking about those main 3 players. Of course, Alexander, Kalbrenner, on top of that, Schwierman. There's just a lot of talent on this Creighton team. Who do you see really showing up outside of just Dalton Connect and Ziegler that are really going to challenge these guys, at least on defense?
It's for sure a pretty three-headed monster that Creighton's got there. If there's any team that can kind of maybe get them off what they want to do, make them go deeper on the bench than kind of the 6 guys they've stuck with all season, it's probably Tennessee. Of course, Rick Barnes isn't going to play anyone that's not ready to be in a defensive battle. That's been proven. So Tennessee's got the guys to deal with it. The biggest concern for me is guarding Ryan Kalkbrenner down low. Will Jonas Adu be able to step up and defend one of the elite bigs? We've seen at times him have really good games and look like one of those top 5 centers in the country, top 10 centers in the country. In other games, we see him kind of get bullied in the post, and he falls into foul trouble. And then you have to rely a little bit more on Tobe Awaka than maybe you want to, who's still a young player and has his own foul issues. So can they defend a 7-1 center who's been really, really good for Creighton on both offense and defense? I think that will also be one of the big factors in this game is what does Jonas Adu do to kind of stop that push from Creighton?
Yeah, Tennessee looking like a 3.5-point favorite in this game, but of course it's not easy, especially with those spreads that are under 5. I mean, anything can truly happen. Even at 11, I mean, anything can happen, Bandy. We've seen it all year long.
It's literally just March Madness.
Exactly.
Anything could happen.
Ryan Sylvia, though, from Vol Report on with us talking Tennessee Volunteers basketball. And, I mean, overall with this SEC, they start off this tournament 1-5, and then they have 2 teams making it to Sweet 16, possibly 2 teams making it to the Elite 8. Is this a type of moment where you're looking at the SEC and you're thinking more quality over quantity instead of, obviously, the latter?
Yeah, Bailey's All-SEC Final Four might be a little busted, but it looks like you could get 2 teams snuck into there. Alabama, a really impressive win last night. I didn't think that they were going to be able to make an Elite 8 run with obviously a high-powered offense, but their style of play, I wasn't sure how it would pan out in March, and so far so good. A big win against UNC last night, and Tennessee's got a little bit of a ways to go, but you've got to feel pretty good about getting that defensive win out of the way against Texas. You hope your offense comes back, and if that defense can travel, they're going to be a really tough out. Could be Creighton. I think that's a coin flip type of game. And you probably have another coin flip type of game, whether it's Purdue or Gonzaga. That's another tough matchup. But Tennessee looks good. Alabama looks good. So the SEC off to a pretty rough start, but I think you take the quality over quantity if you can get 2 teams in the Elite 8 and maybe one of them in the Final Four.
Well, for sure about that. Before we let you go, everybody's kind of had their say on this UConn team just because of just how assertive they've been, not only just last year in this tournament, but this year as well. It's almost like the exact same things going down. Kind of just talk about your feelings about this Connecticut squad. And, I mean, are they possibly the best team, or are they the team to beat to get the national championship title? Or do you think maybe there is a little bit of a crack to the system?
They're the top team in the country. They looked like it all season, and they looked like it in March. Personally, I had Houston in my bracket winning the championship, but a little bit of that does just go back to, man, surely there's no way a team can go back-to-back. We haven't seen it since Florida back in the 2000s. If anyone's going to do it, though, I mean, this team is incredible. There's really no drop-off from last year. It's different pieces, but they fit in really well, and they're just blowing teams out of the water. Yeah. I think that's what's most impressive. It's one thing if you're sneaking your way and then all of a sudden you're in the Elite 8, but maybe you had a little hiccup or two along the way. These games are over by halftime, it feels like, every time we watch UConn in this field. So they're the team to beat, but that also means you're going to have a big target on your back. At this point, everyone's really good, and you could lose to anyone at any time. So they still have to show up every night or else they'll get down.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, whenever you get into this tournament, there's no easy team. And to see a squad like UConn just be able to blow past their competition all the way up until Sweet 16 against a San Diego State team that might not be as good as last year, but still is it good enough to make it to the Sweet 16.
They're still a good team.
Oh, yeah. It is definitely impressive to say the least.
Oh,
but
my God, they're efficient.
Yeah, they really are. They know how to work that offense around the perimeter and then into the paint. Just, they got the weapons. But enough about UConn. Back to Tennessee because, of course, their matchup is the one that we're going to be looking at here in the Southeast. Ryan, let us know where we're going to be able to follow your work during this whole matchup over on the socials and online.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at Ryan T. Sylvia. You can find kind of live updates, videos throughout the game. And then at ballreport.com is where you can find stuff on men's basketball. Lady Vols run got cut a little bit short, but we still have content on that. Baseball season, we're mid-SEC play, and then football season is never over.
No, sir.
In Knoxville, spring practice going on, just had pro day. So for content, everything Tennessee Athletics, over to ballreport.com.
Good stuff, Ryan. Be safe on that trip and enjoy the basketball tonight, brother.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Appreciate you, too. Ryan Sylvia from volreport.com. Check his work out. He's got all of the stuff you need to know about that Volunteers team, and I'm going to say this. They're riding hot, but it is going to be a challenge to beat this Creighton team. But, Bandy, we rooting for the SEC. The more SEC in the Elite 8 and the Final Four, the better. That's how we feel, of
I know,
course, when it gets to this time of the
We came
season.
in with 8 at the start of round of 64, and we're now down to 2.
Can we real quick before we hit our final break, can we just look, 8 teams. It was tied with the Big 12, with the most teams coming in here. And you go down this list, and you're just looking at the teams that could have been able to make through. South Carolina, of course, I had them high against that Oregon Ducks team. They weren't able to do it. Creighton has a tough challenge against that Oregon team. So we understand. Maybe South Carolina was that team that, was probably going to lose in that first round, Bandy. You look around a little bit more, you got Kentucky versus Oakland. This is a freak game. This is one of those games you don't expect.
But I'm not going to lie. Deciding not to really have very good three-point defense against a team that has a guy who hasn't even taken double-digit two-pointers all year.
Golly.
I mean, just kind of looks like a little bit of a lack of preparation.
Yeah. It's like one of those snakes that just like blends in with the sand and then just jumps up and gets you. I mean, you should see it. You should see it.
Yeah.
It's right there. It's got eyeballs, but it's still going to jump up and bite you. And for the Kentucky Wildcats, of course, it hurt them bad as they dropped in the first round yet again. And then Texas A&M, a team that we honestly didn't expect to even make it to the tournament in the first place. And they go on, win in the first round, and then lose to a really good Houston team. Very close game, mind you, which we didn't get to talk enough about. Very good stuff from the Aggies. But then you go down the list on the other side, Auburn drops to Yale. It's another one of those games. Should not happen for the SEC, especially whenever, Auburn's the team everybody's talking so highly about. They're in my Final Four. Bandy, they're in your Final Four. They win this stinking national championship or something over there. I mean, it's one of those things that's going to definitely need to be worked out, of course, with Bruce Pearl and the rest of that squad, but they definitely have the time and the talent to do so. And then Mississippi State, we're all just disappointed in Mississippi State. It's, it's fine. It's something. Yeah. I mean, but, they were able to show up a few times during the season, so we'll give them a thumbs up for that. But, Roll Tide and Go Vols, that's what we got right now in the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, so that's what we're looking forward to. But we got to hop into our final break on this fun Friday. When we get back, a little bit of soggy talk with me and the Bandiman here on the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
No payments for 90 days on 23 and 24 models. Financing as low as 0% and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 47 years in a row. Hi folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and I'm here to tell you it's Truck Month. The best deals on F-150, Explorer, Bronco, Edge, Bronco Sport, and Escape. During Truck Month, get financing as low as 1.9% for up to 72 months on 2023 F-150 Crew Cabs, and lease payments as low as $375 a month. That's a 36-month lease with $62.82 due at signing, 0 security deposit, just tax tag title, and your good credit. Offer ends 4/2/24. Call 539-9441 for complete details. At Woody Anderson Ford, we have over 40 Bronco Sports and nearly 50 Explorers and about a dozen full-size Broncos, all with great sales incentives and no payment for 90 days. Truck Month only happens once a year. Woody Anderson Ford, hope to see you soon.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s. We're dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Saturday morning. It's going to be a fantastic front half of the weekend. We're talking about plenty of sunshine across the Tennessee Valley. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s. We only drop into the mid 50s as we head into the overnight early into your Easter Sunday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Why am I watching Mr. Beast on the news right now? I understand, he's something, but it's like,
why is Mr. Beast on the news?
WHNT's got him on the news. I mean, why not? Just they can throw him out. Give a little bit more publicity to the guy that's literally the top YouTuber in I would say history. Except for maybe T-Series. I don't know where T-Series is at. You remember that whole battle between like PewDiePie and T-Series? Who's gonna reach 100 million?
God, I think so. Like way back. Like
that was like 2015, 2016. I don't remember.
So long. Hey, honestly, props to WHNT getting those stories out there. Like, hey, they were talking about when the Tetris record got broken.
Exactly. And people might, our age and above, they might be like, oh, well, what is this? Why is this important? For the news. For the younger folks, though, for the kids out there that watch the news, I mean, they're gonna be seeing some of this stuff and be like, maybe I'll watch the news a little bit more.
It's like, so what? He beat a video game. It's like, yeah, he beat a game that has been unbeatable.
Yeah, and then
since it came out,
it's definitely a lot of fun stuff over there.
What, like since the 80s?
Yeah, the Tetris story is quite wild. I mean, there's just some weird stuff to it. I don't know all the details, Bandy. You probably know a little bit more.
Beating the unbeatable, man.
We'll save it for a podcast that we might come out with this year. But I mean, I just kind of want to look back on a little bit of the NCAA tournament history and see, when the last team that was able to win, double championships in a row, a little two-peat stuff. Because that's kind of what the path is looking like for this UConn team. We talked about it in the last segment with one Mr. Ryan Sylvia from Vol Report. Obviously, it goes back to 2006, 2007 with that Florida Gators squad led by Billy Donovan. But before him, I mean, you go down the list, and it was a while before a team really won double in a row. And, of course, it's got to be one of those true blue teams. It's got to be a Duke squad. And that was a time to be alive, I would say, for college basketball. And then even a little bit beforehand. I know I probably skipped one or two of them, but then there was that juggernaut that was John Wooden and that UCLA squad that just kept winning and kept winning and kept winning.
Yeah, just kind of kept winning.
For like a decade straight, and then UTEP decided, hey, I'm going to try and win one too. So they did that, and then, of course, it went back to UCLA for the rest of the decade. It is very difficult to get into the NCAA tournament, but it is 100 times more difficult, I would say, to actually win the NCAA tournament 2 times in a row. Maybe like 50 times more difficult than just making it is to win, the actual thing once. But doing it again in a row, it's just it's one of those anomalies that you don't see much of. Bandy, on top of all of the college basketball, on top of opening day over in the MLB, we also got to see some standouts in their pro days. We got to see Michael Penix Jr. practice a little bit in front of scouts. We got to see a little bit of the LSU boys, of course, Malik Neighbors. You get Brian Thomas Jr. You get, of course, Jaden Daniels. for all of these quarterbacks, including, J.J. McCarthy, Drake May, all of these guys, you go into pro day a little skeptical. There's going to be some bad things to look at, some good things to look at. It was almost like everything was good, at least from what we heard of these dudes in their pro days, because, you get to see some of these videos about them. They're throwing dots, 60 yards down the field. They're putting up these measurables that, we don't hear of as, 5 years ago we look back to some of these guys. It just was unheard of. You get a one Mr. Cam Newton every once in a while, but it's almost like we get, 5 of them every, few years. You get some of these big fellas coming in. Drake May was looking like a stud. He was a sophomore going into the NFL, looking like a complete stud. He's played more games than Anthony Richardson. Sure. He's able to throw the ball down the field. He can throw the ball medium. He can throw the ball short, something Anthony Richardson struggled with. Where is this guy going to end up? Because before I was thinking, maybe mid-first-round pick. Now it's gone up to where, who knows? We could have 5 quarterbacks the first 5 picks.
Well, we've learned. We've also learned from the past to not trust pro day film.
I know.
Because pro day film doesn't make the player. We've learned. Because you know who else had a good pro day?
Who?
Zach Wilson.
They ain't wearing pads. They're not getting pressured. A guy coming at the pad, coming at you, a 40-year-old coming at you with a pad is not the same as a bunch of 25 to 30-year-olds in pads that weigh about 350 pounds. It's not the same, but still impressive to say the least. Either way, for me and the Bandiman, we're out of here. Make sure you stay tuned for all the action here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook